When he does come on, hopefully he will join us in this interview. Joining me now is Pastor John Matwabeng. As I said, the conversation about Senekal, the Bikkie braai place, Padre, is all you needed to sit down and understand that the situation in Senekal can be sorted out, and there's no need for the throne stirring. There's no need for political parties or marauding farmers or people within the community to come through and start things that can be sorted out amongst yourselves. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, Pastor John. So let's start there. How did the meat taste that day?
Good afternoon, and also good afternoon to your viewers. I'm actually excited to be on your show today and also to share the good news, and especially the braai place. It seems like it's something that helped also to facilitate the good environment.
Speak to us, Pastor John. I mean, how did this come about? Because we know that the weeks leading up to the appearance of the two alleged, miners, one of them who killed Mr. Horner, and then the reaction thereafter of the local farmers, and some farmers, let's be fair, and residents came from outside of Senekal. We know what happened. They stormed the court building. We know that for a fact now. Shots were fired within the court building. We know for a fact then there was a reprisal of sorts where black people said, we are going to show them that we too can stand our ground. How did you come around saying, look, let's nip it in the bud before it escalates?
Yeah, it wasn't an easy task because especially in the heat of the emotions that were very high at that time, it seems almost impossible to do something to turn the situation around. And what has happened is that, and I really want to give my hat off for the leaders, the community leaders from the farmers community, and also different political parties and people who also took an interest in the situation. And what happened is that I took it upon myself to facilitate a meeting with these leaders to come together and say, hey, look, something has happened now. And, we don't have time to argue about it and who's right and who's wrong. But the fact is that we do have a situation in our hand now, and this is all happening in Senekal. So it's either we're going to sit and fold our arms and point fingers at each other, or are we going to be proactive as leaders and say, how can we turn this thing around? How can we facilitate an environment where this will not escalate into civil war and also leave detrimental results to Senekal as a town? So these leaders came together. We came together on the 8th of October, and then we decided that we both gonna take responsibility to prevent this situation escalating further. And that's when we decided also that on the 20th of October, then we need to have a forum that can actually facilitate that environment. And that's where Senekal and Matwabeng Forum was birthed.
Let's take us through then the Senekal and Matwabeng Forum. Obviously, you had to have the buy-in from the people on the ground, both white and black communities, to actually want to sit down, as you say, and say, look, yes, we are also responsible, but more than anything, it was a collective agreement to say, this is our town. At the end of the day, when all the political parties and all the TV media and all the people from the outside that have come to support, whether it's the farmers or the black people of Senekal, when they leave, we were left with this town. How was the buy-in? How did you get to maneuver that? Because once you be able to move that needle, then everything else just falls into place, doesn't it?
It's true. And that's why it was very important to get the key people, both in the community, people that are representing different constituency within the community, because these are people of influence. So once you've got their buy-in, then they are able to go back and mobilize their constituency, and that's why we had pastors there, we had politicians there, we had farmers, and we had people with influence in the community. And on the 20th of October, then we came together, and we were actually very blessed to have two gentlemen, Mr. Baron Lagrach from SA Today, and now forgetting his name, Mr. Giel Baker, Professor Giel Baker. They came in because they helped us with identifying what you called a unity project, where you can, instead of having a dialogue, where people now have arguments and then the whole thing starts to become a racial thing, to have projects where we can mobilize community and bring the community around that project. Because when you have that project, then you are creating an environment where relationships can be built. And if you want to have a dialogue now, it's going to be very possible, because now you have two communities working together towards a common goal. And I think that that was the key, to get the people of influence within the community so that we can have the buy-in of the community.
It's a pity that Mr. de Klerk is still unable to get a hold of him, but as I said, we would like to have him as well join us in the conversation. But let's come back to what has happened since on the ground. We do understand that, even when the men who were charged with public violence, when they went to court, the community of Senekal said, look, so that we do not sow racial tension or any form of tension, forget it. Stay away from the courts. Forget marching to courts with placards calling for bail for this one and that one not to get bail. You've sort of said to yourselves as a forum, let it happen as it pleases. Let the law take its course. We will stand by our community. And you even started projects, I hear, of making sure that Senekal is clean, one of the cleanest towns in the country.
Yes, and that's very exciting, because, like I said, we think the most effective approach to situations like this, you need to have something that is common, that's something that resonates with everyone. And for us in this instance, it was looking at our town and our township and say, what can we do to uplift our community, to uplift our town and our township. And we have identified this project of cleaning and fixing broken stuff and painting and planting trees. And we started our project by cleaning one of the old stadiums that was not used for many years here between the town and the township. And luckily enough, on that day, we had the first tournament to play on the field while we were cleaning the stadium, which was actually a positive sign for us that we are doing the right thing. And I think the community sees that, and everyone looked at it and said, hey, this is what I want to be part of, instead of, pointing fingers and getting into racial war and tension. I want to do something that can be positive for my town. And this is what we are doing now. We have just had a memorandum of understanding with the municipality of Sesotho for them also to join in and to help us and to be part of this initiative. And the goal is to really have our town, because what happened here in Senekal attracted a lot of attention. Now people know about Senekal. So that's what we said, now we can use this opportunity, because we know now people know about Senekal, but let's just bring that positive side of Senekal so that when people come and visit Senekal next time, they can find it clean and they can find that this is actually a place where everyone is welcomed and the community is living in peace.
Pastor John, maybe one more question. As the floor asked me, a colleague of mine, when is the next braai and what are we having on the braai next time so we can come around?
Listen, we're going to have plenty of those prizes. We're going to have plenty of those prizes. So I do have your numbers now. So I will send an invitation for you guys. It will be lovely to have you in the town of Senekal. And just on a very important note as well, we're starting to see also new businesses starting in Senekal now, small businesses starting in Senekal, and we can see that the community is already preparing itself to welcome people from outside and people who would love to come and see this town that uses such a horrible crisis and turn it into something positive. So you will definitely be hearing from us.
Looking forward to those chops there. Pastor John Matutle, thank you very much indeed for joining us. And fortunately, Jess de Klerk, who's chairman of the Senekal Security Association, was unable to join in the conversation. He was driving, so it's not that he did not want to join in. He was driving. We were trying to get in contact with him. But anyway, good seeing that things are looking up in Senekal, Pastor John, and we're definitely looking forward to that invite for some braai flesh. Thank you very much indeed, sir.
Thank you so much.